This Road to Osaka series is powered by Mizuno. Over the next 9 weeks, join us as we follow the journey of Reece Edwards, Rachel McGuinness and Julian Spence on their push to the Osaka Marathon. All right, here we go. Episode 1 of the hotly anticipated Road to Osaka Marathon. I'm joined here by two Mizuno stars of Australian running who are on their way to run the marathon at Osaka. We've heard of them before, but I'm going to introduce firstly Rachel McGuinness, who is joining us from where?
From Richmond in Melbourne.
Oh, very good. Very good. Now, Rach, we had you on a couple of weeks ago, I reckon it was, and you were going all guns blazing, but do you want to give us a quick little update before we get to a bit of a get to know you type fire questions at you around sort of setting you up for the series? So where are you at now compared to 2 weeks ago?
Not in such a good place now compared to 2 weeks ago. I've had an early incarnation of the curse take me out of training for a couple of weeks. And it came with a bit of a plot twist as well. Just before Christmas, I got some mild calf pain and ran on it for a few days, and then it got a bit worse. So I panicked and booked an MRI thinking, just check the box, get a stress fracture ruled out. Got the scan. My sports doctor kindly looked at it for me before it was reported and said it's just medial tibial stress syndrome, and that fit with my symptoms, and it's commonly known as shin splints. So take some time off. You'll probably come right in like a week or a couple of weeks. And then just after Christmas, the MRI got reported, and it got reported as a grade 4B stress fracture. And had a bit of a moment of unraveling, and started cancelling plans and cancelling like runs and things, and then started thinking about it, and it just didn't really fit with my symptoms. And my sports doctor went back and looked at the images for me and said, I don't think this is a break in the bone. So recommended that I got a CT. And obviously because of Christmas and all that, I had to wait a little bit to get that. So I had that done on Tuesday this week, and it's confirmed that it's not a fracture. So just trying to treat it at the moment as shin splints, medial tibial stress syndrome. I've done a bit of offloaded running and hoping to get to some ground running this week.
So can you just run us through the difference between grade 4 stress fracture and medial tibial stress syndrome? Yeah,
so medial tibial stress syndrome, which is shin splints, is a spectrum of disorders, with grade 1 being just inflammation of the lining of the bone, the periosteum. And then grade 4 is right at the end of the spectrum, which is when you get a crack in the bone. So really, it all kind of is this continuum with varying changes in the bone until it gets to this stress fracture. So I have a lower grade version of that, but when the MRI was reported, it said that it was the worst grade. At the moment, they're thinking I'm maybe kind of more along the kind of grade 2. So there's varying like data out there that says that if you have a grade 1, you probably need a couple of weeks off training. Grade 2 is probably more like 3 to 4 weeks. So we're just trying to find out where along that continuum I am and where we can try and like broach getting a bit of running back in. But I'm just so glad it wasn't stressy.
Yeah. So your intuition was right.
Yeah.
That must.
I mean, I could hop on it. It was sore, but I could like do 10 hops on it, and I was like, I'm getting mild pain. Whereas, if you have a grade 4 stress fracture, you should be in like debilitating pain, like crying after a couple of jumps. So, yeah.
All right. Well, probably a good time to introduce Melbourne's self-proclaimed running physio. We got the running tradie and we got the running physio, he calls himself. So Reece Edwards, geez, nice time for some special comments on Rachel's injury here from a physiotherapist's point of view.
Yeah. Firstly, I actually work in acquired brain injuries, so I don't actually work in sports physiotherapy. Just getting that straight out of there. And there's 150 other running physios out there, at least, probably in Richmond. But I have a quick question, but in regards of how do they distinguish the difference between, say, a tib post tendon I say tendinopathy and the actual inflammation of the periosteum? Like, have they done an ultrasound? Is that what came up on CT?
No, so
or
that's what came up on the MRI. Like you can see the periosteal inflammation. Like like it lights up around the bone.
You didn't like that?
No.
Sorry, I cut out.
Yeah, I was just saying I had an MRI that confirmed, like, that showed quite significant periosteal inflammation. You could see it, like on an MRI, it just lights up like the lining of the bone.
Yeah. No, I was just because it's an interesting one, isn't there? There's a lot of kind of new research, and it's kind of a lot in the army, isn't it? Like a lot of military kind of backgrounds where a lot of the research has come from.
Yeah.
What is the new research compared to the old research?
Well, actually, it's kind of the reason why it's called a syndrome is this is from my understanding, and I could be completely wrong, and Rachel will shut me down. But it's called a syndrome because it's a theory on they don't actually know what's happening. It's because they're either talking it's from like traction of the tib post or the soleus on the periosteum, or it's actual direct overload to the bone. So they don't actually know why it happens type thing. Yeah. Anyway, that's a fun fact, I thought.
So if you don't know why it happens, then it's hard to find a solution for it. Is that right?
Yeah,
that'd be my understanding, yeah. Yeah, it'd be a really, really tricky one that Rachel's got with. It's kind of one of those ones where, and I think you're experiencing it right now, where you like you said, you could hop 10 times. So you're like, can I run through this? Should I run through this? You know the consequences if you overdo it. So it's actually like a really interesting one. I reckon I want to say about 20% of runners get this injury. So I think there'd be a lot of people out there that'd be pretty interested to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, currently it's the third most common injury amongst runners after ITB and patellofemoral runner's knee.
Right, so Achilles isn't even above them. Wow.
Well, that's what I read. Yeah.
Interesting.
I've got it now too. Maybe not to the degree that you do, but I've got pain in my mid shin every time I run. When I wake up, it's sore.
Could be in your head, mate.
Yeah. Well, I'm not as professional in my rehab as Rachel is. I'm just pretending it's not there and keeping on running, and hoping that number progression from 1 to 4 doesn't happen. But do you know what I had the other day, Reece, that really helped it?
You're going to bring up dry needling, aren't you?
I had my calf needled, and it felt amazing afterwards.
That's good. That's good.
There's some magic in those needles, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. Honestly, I'll say it now. If it works for you, keep doing it.
All right. Thank you. That's good to hear. I like your confidence. But how about you tell us now, 2 weeks since we heard from you last, are you fit? Have you run more marathons since then?
My fitness is improving. Yeah, my fitness is definitely improving. So I think 2 weeks ago, I just finished Singapore. I'm such a good bloke. I brought COVID home from Singapore for my 4-week-old son. So I thought I was cooked from Singapore, which I probably was cooked from Singapore, but I had COVID on top of that. And race was on Sunday. I was running home from work on Wednesday. It's just 6 kilometers. And I stopped at about 4.5, and I was in agony every single step of the way from my chest in my head. And that was the moment when I was like, if Lisa Waitman ran 2:24 with COVID, my goodness, that thing is worth a bloody 2:16 because I ain't running 2:24 with COVID.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we sort of glossed over the fact that she had COVID during the race.
Yeah, like honestly, I had to stop at 5 kilometers because it's just weird. You have nothing. Yeah. So yeah, be a great run if it's what happened.
So were you running home from work?
Yeah, I was running home from work, and like every time I looked down at my watch, it had like pressure in like your sinus areas above your eyes, and that was the moment where I was just in agony in my chest. I was like, something's happening here, and then I got home, opened my phone, and I had a message from a local Singaporean lad, and he was like, just letting you know, he named about 5 people who I was with all weekend. Yeah, we've all tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
And my partner was like, yeah, maybe test. And yeah, there I went.
It's good to hear that you spent a day at the hospital with COVID.
Yep, you're 100% right. I can't deny I can't deny that. Yes. Well, I did. I got a week off after that, so yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's paid for you, so a little extra holiday on top.
Yeah, but I didn't actually know I had symptoms when I went to work. Like I had no runny nose, no cough. It was literally that run home when I was like, something's off here.
All right, you're still a good guy. So I'm going to just go through. We're going to do a little quick fire, get to know you guys before we get into this series. Maybe create some talking points for the rest of the show from you guys. So I'm going to start. We're going to start with you, Rachel. You can get into these questions in your answers, or you can just give one-liners. I don't really mind. Let's start now. Where was your hometown growing up?
I'm originally from Tooting in South London, but I grew up in Kent, a place called Sevenoaks in the southeast.
Okay, that's in England.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. People say that I sound Australian now, so.
Oh no, definitely not.
No, not even close.
Okay.
Probably your family in England says that. I'm going to guess. Yeah. So your hometown now?
Oh, Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Yeah.
All right. The 3 proudest races that you've been part of run that you're most proud of?
Great Ocean Road half marathon in 22. Because that was an unexpected win. I won it, but didn't taper for it. I thought there was someone else ahead of me like the whole way, because I think Sarah Klein was on the list, and I just assumed she was on like in a pack of guys. And it was actually Ellie Pashley cycled past me. She was watching, and she said to me around, I must have been about halfway, and she went, "Oh, you're the first lady," and I had like no idea up until that point. So that was like an unexpected win, and that was just like really fun to win a big race like that. Another one would probably be the Burnley 10 that I did the same year. That was just like the first time that I really executed like a big negative split in a race. I think I ran like 17 flat for the first 5K, and then would have been 16:36 for the second 5K. And then probably...
What position were you that race?
I think I was 4th or 5th. Fifth. And yeah, all the girls that finished ahead of me were all like the big Aussie like representatives. So like to come like just the next one down was like a bit of an achievement for me. And then I probably say Valencia, my marathon PB. It wasn't quite well. I went around 2:34, which now in hindsight, I remember I crossed the finish line and I was a bit disappointed with myself, and my partner finished a few minutes behind me, and he crossed the finish line and asked how you did. And I was like, oh, I didn't do very well. And he thought like I hadn't even PB'd, and it was a 2.5 minute PB, but I was wanting a bit more, and I was just like really beating myself up about it. But now, having had the last year with like loads of injuries, it's going to make me appreciate having like those moments a lot more.
Okay, that's some good talking points there. Past and current coaches?
So I've only ever had like one coach before you. So I was coached by Tim Crosby, which he only started coaching me about a few weeks before I ran Melbourne Marathon. So only about 4 or 5 weeks before that, which was end of 2021. And then I've been with you since September. Yeah.
Yep. Do you have a training group?
Not currently, no, because obviously I used to train with people from Crosby Crew. I still run with a few of the guys, like sometimes when I'm not injured, for like easy runs and stuff. But I was doing a lot of my training solo anyway because of my work schedule, because I move around a bit for work. So yeah, a lot of it solo.
Oh, yeah. And where do you run the most? Location, trails.
Bit of a mix, really. Like obviously I do sessions at Albert Park, and then try and get onto the trails like around like Studley Park, and like Yarra Bends and like Yarra Boulevard a bit. But then I run quite a bit. I'm up in Ballarat quite a bit for work, so I run up there either around the lake or I run with a group there called Heartbreak Athletic club, and like they go out and do quite a bit of the trail running. Is it the Canadian bush? Someone else always leads the run, so I never concentrate when I'm on it. Yeah.
It all looks the same out there. It's an easy place to get lost.
Yeah.
Shoe size?
Oh, I've never actually learned Australian shoe sizes. I'm a European 39, which I think is an Australian. Is that 8? I don't know.
Isn't really Australian. What UK? You know your UK size, wouldn't
you? UK would be size 6. Is that?
Yeah. I think you might be a women's 8, US 8. Does that sound right?
I think women's 8 or 8, and I usually go up a half size for running though. So.
All right. Music. What's on the playlist? What sort of genres, bands?
Well, I listen to a real mix. That's difficult. Like, I was listening to The Clash earlier, Tom Waits. But yeah, anything.
Like old school punk rock.
The Clash is. Tom Waits is a bit more like bluesy kind of. Yeah.
Do you like American punk rock?
No, not so much American. I prefer British.
Oh, like the glory days of Blink-182 and
no.
Kenny
now we're talking.
That was some good music. I'm not sure I went far back enough to listen to The Clash.
Yeah, Millie Collin.
Yeah. Oh, how old are you, Reece?
Man, I'm 33.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that takes you back, doesn't it? Feel like a teenager again listening to that music.
Yeah, I was the youngest of 4 boys, so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got the hand-me-down CDs. What podcasts do you listen to?
Oh, it's got to be Inside Running.
Yeah, well, given, but any others?
I listened to there was one I was listening to. I've been listening actually quite a bit to. So Jake Smith has done his own podcast called like Running with Red S, because when I had my sacral stressy, I was in low energy availability, so I was like listening to that quite a bit. He does quite a good like set of interviews with people that have gone through similar sorts of things. So listen to that quite a bit.
He's had a very crazy journey, hasn't he?
He got I think he had a metatarsal stress fracture, cross-trained the entire way through it, didn't lose like any fitness, got back to training, and 3 weeks later got his sacral stressy. So yeah.
He was about to set the world on fire. He was pacing 5 guys to 30K. It was wild watching him. And then what did he run last night? 8:12 for a 3K I saw.
Yeah.
So he's getting back, but certainly not. Yeah, go on, Reece.
So just quickly, he paced myself and my Kiwi mate Callan when we in Wrexham years back, and he ran 2:11 flat off a sip of water.
Yeah. We finished the race.
Yeah, decided to finish the race.
Decided to finish it, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
He paced the Olympic standard for the men at Valencia to, I think, 30K or something.
Yeah. He was doing a lot of pace work, and I remember he went to Uganda, and that looked really tough. Running
that's where he says he cooked himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And Rach, your ambitions for Osaka obviously probably changed a little. Where are you sitting at now in the head?
Ambition is to make it to the start line.
Good. You'll enjoy it more if you start than if you're standing on the sideline.
Yeah.
It's okay to go there and only run halfway, by the way. Experience is still fine. I know.
Yeah.
It's good train system to get back. You'll be fine. You've got 7 weeks though, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I've had my foot taped up today, so that could be a real game changer. So
yeah, that can change everything.
Done.
You just need some deep heat next, and you'll be totally over it.
Yeah.
All right, Reece, we'll do the same thing. Firstly, where are you from at the moment? Like, where are you?
Yeah, that's a good way to start. So I'm in a little town called Woolgoolga, and the house I'm staying at does not have Wi-Fi. So I apologise if you see me cut in and out. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. So, why are you there?
Why I'm there? This is the little hometown of my wife. So we're up here. I've got my second 3 weeks of paternity leave. I've linked it together with Christmas leave. So we're spending 2.5 weeks up here.
Lovely. And where is it exactly?
So I don't know if people will know where Coffs Harbour is, but it's about 2 hours south of Byron. It's kind of halfway between Sydney and Brisbane, up in northern New South Wales.
How many people?
I want to say 4,000.
Yeah. Really grilling.
It's probably similar to Anglesey in a way, except for it's got a Woolworths.
Yeah. Oh, that's a detraction. All right. So is that where are you from then? Around there?
So I did primary schooling in a little town called Murwillumbah, which is kind of like a hippie town inland from Byron. And then I did my high schooling in Coffs Harbour, which is about 20 minutes south of where I am now.
Right. And so that's where you met your wife, I'm guessing.
Yeah, met her at a duathlon at the local blueberry farm.
All right. Fair enough. Well,
mate, that's where you meet them.
You in Melbourne now? I think we know that, don't we?
Yeah. So living in Melbourne now. So in Richmond, just the same as Rachel.
Oh, there you go. You guys far from each other?
No, I don't think so. You're more down. Is it Burnley Cremorne way? Is it?
Yeah, I'm near Burnley Park, so won't give too much away now, Rachel. This is an open forum, but but yeah, I'm on that side of Richmond.
And you're the other side, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm kind of right in the middle, I think. Well, no, yeah, I'm on the outskirts, I guess, closer to East Melbourne.
Richmond, isn't it?
Are you like just kind of near that, like that clinic that people go to make themselves feel better?
Yeah, I'm very close.
Are you actually?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's just down the road. Yeah.
Wait, so there's a heroin clinic.
It's like a needle exchange place. There's often they go around the streets with a sharps bin in the morning and they pick up all the sharps. They have like a little crew that goes out. So if you go out on an early morning run, you see the people collecting all the syringes.
Hopefully they get out before you do.
Yeah.
Reece, the three races you're most proud of.
Number one, Copenhagen half marathon, which is my half marathon PB. I ran 63:38, and every kilometer was within 3 seconds of one another. So it was like the only race I've ever done where there was just it was just perfect. And the last 3K, I felt like I kind of got gapped by a few guys, and I thought I was blowing up. But then when I look back on it, they had accelerated. I was still running the same pace. So that's number one. Number two is probably when I did Tarawera Ultra back in 2019. I had no idea what I was doing and just wore a pair of road shoes and did 1 gel an hour type thing and some Red Bulls. And it was kind of, I don't know, it taught me how to just suffer through. I feel like I can suffer through anything. So it just gave me a lot of mental strength. And number three, maybe when I was 6 years old and I won the Banana Coast fun run when the leader turned the wrong way and I didn't hold back and I overtook him with 50 meters to go. Yeah.
You don't give him the prize either. You don't split the prize at the end.
No, if you go the wrong direction, it is. I think I got $50 when I was 6. Right. Changed the game.
Good money.
Not going to. I thought you might have included that Lake Biwa that I beat you at.
You know what? Actually, I'll give you something. Lake Biwa can go number 3 because 9 out of 10 people pull out in that situation, right? And not only did I not pull out, I celebrated your success and other people's success that night. And not once did I feel sorry for myself. It's like we all have bad days. It's still my slowest marathon to date, I think.
What was it? Just so
2:32. 2:32.
Oh, wow. I thought they pulled you off the course there at that pace.
No, mate, no one was pulling me off the course. The crowd was roaring for me. You wouldn't know that. You were kind of here.
That's a long way home.
It was a long way home, but that was another learning moment. Let's go that as my top 3 because Lake Biwa was like a big change, a big turn in my whole running kind of career, because I turned up to that race and I didn't have any gels. I had electrolyte drink in my bottle, so I didn't have any sugar. So I was planning on running that marathon on electrolyte drink. So I literally had no carbs, because I knew nothing. I didn't know what I was doing. So I look back at that, and that was a big learning moment going, okay, if you're going to do this, you might want to take it a bit more serious.
Well, isn't there some sort of physiology unit at physio degree where you learn about the body, even just a small amount about like how it feels itself?
That's more, so not in physiotherapy a little bit. Oh, mate, like, I don't know.
Don't they teach you in like primary and secondary school that sugar is fuel? Like,
yeah.
I was
in a physio degree.
There's an entire industry on this.
Yeah, I didn't really listen in high school, so.
All right. I'm guessing you didn't have a coach at that time either?
No, that's just when I started going solo.
Yeah, yep. So have you ever had a coach?
I was trained. I trained with Dick Telford's squad from 2017 to kind of the end of 2018, and he kind of helped. It was more so I just joined their squad. He'd just send an email out. He kind of helped me a little bit before Chicago, sending me some advice. He recommended that I just needed, say, 2 gels and I'll be fine in Chicago, which is my first marathon.
You did well there, didn't you? The first one.
Yeah, I ran 2:16 there. So I was stoked. That was kind of pre-super shoes. So that's I probably should have said that as one of my maybe my number one run, actually. I was just really, really good 5K shape then.
Do you know what my marathon was? 3:48.
Yeah.
3:48 for your debut.
Yeah. My first ever marathon.
You're improving.
You said I had a long. You said I had a long day at 2:32. Yeah.
3:48. Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
What pace is that? Like 6-minute pace?
I have no idea. I just went out. I was 21, maybe.
That's no excuse.
Yeah. Have you seen those Kenyans? They're running 20 years old. They're running 2:2. So that was the year, Reece, that super shoes were out by then. I know that because I remember you ran that in 2017 or 2018, actually. Super shoes were definitely out because I remember copping shit from a few of those Telford crew because we called out someone getting put on the start line at Chicago that year because we thought it was odd how someone got a spot from Australia. And I remember thinking, it was 2018 because I remember exactly sitting where I was, where I got some angry messages.
Yeah, and it wasn't about me. And I don't think you received any angry messages from me personally.
No, you just went out and got the job done. But that was super shoes. What are you talking about? You're telling lies there.
Yeah. There's a little fib in there. The guys I was running with weren't in super shoes. I might have had a pair of the old Nike 4%ers on that I picked up from a DFO.
Oh, you're cheeky. So do you do your training solo or you run with others around Richmond?
I started doing a little bit with like Deneen's runners kind of before Melbourne Marathon for about 6 weeks there. So I'd do that on, say, a Tuesday evening. And then on Saturdays, I join up with Dave Ridley and Ben Kelly, and we kind of just get it done around Albert Park on a Saturday morning. Otherwise, everything else, I just jog around. If I see people, I have a chat and jog with them. So, yeah.
All right. And we sort of covered this, but you do most of your running to and from work, don't you? Any specific workout spots or long run spots you go to?
Say I don't mind. I'm close to Burnley Boulevard, so I do a lot of. If I have to do anything solo, I just do it Burnley Boulevard. Otherwise, workout spots is Albert Park.
Does everyone just go to Albert Park now in Melbourne? That's just where everyone goes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Just run on the road.
Yeah, run on the road. Yeah, you get abused every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wide road though. It's a nice one to run on.
There's just one spot near the swimming pool where you kind of have to almost be in the middle of the road, take the roundabout on, and some people don't enjoy that, but yeah.
Yeah. You'd have a big hoof. What shoe size?
US 11. It's not as big as you think, is it?
No, that's small for a big, tall guy like you.
I know. I got a mate. Have you ever met Tony Payne?
Yes.
You know, he's got a bigger foot than me, and I reckon he's 5 foot flat.
Yeah, right. Jeez, that's not something to brag about. Not to the public.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Music, punk rock, Millencolin.
Yeah, I kind of grew up in that generation with your Blink and Sum 41 and stuff, so I don't mind that. I've kind of moved away from it a little bit and listened to kind of some more chilled music this day and age. For some reason, I've got into a lot of South African type music recently. Just the Spotify algorithms just got me for some. I don't know.
Do you find that a lot of old punk rock people like listening to rap music as well?
Absolutely. I don't mind listening to rap, but I haven't listened to modern day rap like, you know, Eminem. I was kind of that generation as well. I was that young Caucasian boy, put his hat on backwards and thought he could rap. I think I did a school talent one time where I mimed Eminem 8 Mile. Oh,
yeah. You still know the words off by heart.
Oh, yeah. I get to mum spaghetti and then I run out.
So I think the punk rock generation moved to rap real quick once we started getting decent punk rock, when it turned to that Sum 41 stuff. When before that, and you had to go and get your anti-establishment fix from the hip hoppers and the rappers. But if you want to learn a rap, and I had challenged Ali to this a few years ago, try and learn the first verse to Feel Me Flow by Naughty by Nature. And I don't even care if you have the music playing and you just like sing and rap with it. It's still impossible. Those guys are like magicians.
I've never even heard this song.
Yeah, well, Feel Me Flow, write it down, and we'll come back next week and you can both have a crack at it.
When was this song released?
Oh, probably mid-90s when the band was popular.
Mid-90s. Okay. Feel Me Flow.
You would have heard it. It's actually off the 8 Mile movie. It's the song they're singing in the building before they burn it down. Like it's when they're dancing in that building.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a very good song. Anyway,
challenge accepted.
All right, good. Podcasts.
Honestly, God, I listen to you guys a little bit, but I'm not a person. I don't listen to people.
Yeah, only when you're on it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Honestly, I have never jumped on the whole podcast bandwagon.
Okay.
Not even if you're injured, like on cross training.
No, because I've got like music to listen to, or like I'm also a bit of a nutter where like when I was training for ultras, I do 4 or 5 hour runs and listen to nothing. Just yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What do you think about?
Just like I'm solving problems to the world, and no, someone did ask me the other day, and I honestly don't know. I think I just think how much this sucks, and I can't wait for it to end.
Yeah. What about you, Rachel? Do you listen to music when you run?
Sometimes, not like never when I do a session. Sometimes if I just go out for a run, I'll listen to music. But yeah, like it's not something I need. But like when I'm cross training, I have to listen to something.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing a lot of aqua jogging, I'd have to have a podcast or something on to get me through, because that is really, otherwise you're getting deep into the thoughts of this sucks. I really want this to be done.
How are you listening to things when you're in the water?
So my trick was, because I remember hearing that Sinead accidentally like dropped her earphone. Well, I think she said it was a glass of wine, so maybe not when she was cross training. So you know those running buffs that you wear around your neck?
Uh-huh.
I put that over my head and ears and put like Bluetooth headphones in, and then aqua jog.
Oh, that'd be great. That's a great visual.
Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking. So you look absolutely normal then in the pool.
Yeah. Who's the crazy woman in lane 1? She's looking at my children.
And she's just jogging in the water. Not going anywhere.
Lifeguards come up to me more so in the UK. When I was aqua jogging in the UK, I had so many lifeguards telling me I couldn't be in the deep end with a float if I needed a float to swim. I was like, excuse me, I'm aqua jogging here.
Oh boy. Do
they even put their head underwater in the UK? I don't think that any of them put their head under the water, do they?
Well, I did.
They're all scared of water.
Headphones in.
Yeah, that's why you got kicked out of the deep end. And do you have many British listeners here, Moose?
I'm sure we will after Rachel gets on there and promotes us.
Yeah, I bet Josh Lunn can't swim.
Oh, he can't do a lot of things. Run a marathon is one of them. Now, Reece, ambitions for Osaka?
I'd like to run a PB. So ideally, I've run 2:13 twice. So if it says 2:12, over the moon. But anything. If I run a PB, absolutely over the moon. Not chasing any big gains. I know most people when they state their goals in a marathon this day and age are like, "Oh, I'm going for a 5-minute improvement on this one." Doesn't matter how fast they've gone. For some reason, I always think they can run 5 minutes faster. So for me, literally, if the goal is 24 seconds faster than my PB, and mate, it'll be a good night in Osaka.
So why have you guys picked Osaka, and what do you know about it, Rachel? Like, were you watching last year and you thought this would be a great one to do, or how have you picked Osaka?
Yeah, I remember. I think we tried to watch it last year, but with Japanese ones, it's always a bit difficult to find a stream. But I remember Lisa did it, and it was partly timing because I spent a lot of time out last year. It was just thinking about when could I get to a point where I'd be able to train for a marathon, and Osaka fell into that sort of period where it worked out quite well. Obviously, traveling from Australia as well, it's similar time zone, usually just like 1 or 2 short flights, and it's also it's meant to be like a flat, fast course. And I've been to Japan 10 years ago, and I love the food and the culture, so it was just kind of a good excuse to get in a good holiday as well. And obviously, it was I'd actually already entered it before the Mizuno opportunity came up. I'd already gone in through the lottery. So when the Mizuno opportunity came up, it kind of all just married together. And then my shins came to ruin everything.
Not yet. They haven't ruined it.
Not yet.
They're trying, but we won't let them.
No. I'm challenging this curse.
Reece, have you looked at this race for a while? Why did you do this over Tokyo or something?
So in 2019, this man by the name of Julian Spence ran his famous 2:14 marathon, and he got selected for the Australian team to be the sole representative at Doha. I also was at that race and had the worst marathon of my entire life, as we just spoke about. I have been wanting redemption at Biwa since I crossed that finish line. So at Biwa Marathon obviously doesn't exist anymore. It's kind of amalgamated into Osaka Marathon. So I always knew I was going to come back for that redemption. I'm just that sort of bloke. And man, the running culture in Japan is something else. Like the way they all go out suicidal, that's me. I just love the way they're happy to do 300-kilometer training weeks and lay it on the line, and they take all these risks in training. And man, I'm all for I have no interest in the Kenyan running world. No interest. It's boring. I can tell you some great Kenyan stories. The Japanese culture and running world is where it's at.
Have you read the book? What is it? The Way of the Runner? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I've read that Japanese one. I think it's a good insight into it. Obviously it gets a bit dark when they talk about kind of how they are a bit controlled and things like that and their mentality. But, there's something about their tough nature and they're all in. I kind of like it. Yeah.
It's pretty different culture over there. They don't seem to want to ever get influenced by what's happening elsewhere. They just stick to their own.
Yeah, which is what I like. A Kenyan can go to a random dance, and then all of a sudden, all of us in the Western world are doing dancing before our marathons because that's how you run 2:03 type thing. And the Japanese, they ain't dancing before they go and run. 150 of them go run 205 or 206. So, they're not that far off the African nations, and they're not doing all this lardy doodah stuff.
Well, didn't they struggle to convert from being such good half marathoners to marathoners for a long period of time? They struggled to have anyone really going under 210, even though they had like 300 guys under 63 minutes or something.
Did they? I didn't know that. I wonder what changed. That's interesting.
It was a few years ago, I reckon, and that you always saw the universities pumping out like, I think it was about 300 people under maybe 64 minutes, and then there was 900 people under 69 minutes for men anyway in that, forget what half marathon it is. But then, yeah, they may have only had 2 or 3 go under 210 for the same year. So they had trouble producing marathoners, but it's changed now.
When do you reckon that was?
Probably 10 years ago.
Okay, so not that long ago. Wow. Yeah.
Have you done any other races there, Rachel? Japan?
No.
So that was before you were a runner, you headed over there?
Well, I think I ran a little bit, but yeah, no, I wouldn't have ever been like doing international races or anything like that then.
All right, well, it's time for me to do the post-episode read from Mizuno. So this is it. The Wave Rebellion Pro 2 is the pinnacle of Mizuno road racing, bringing together an innovative midsole shape with soft Mizuno Energy Light Plus foam and a carbon-infused wave plate. The Rebellion Pro 2 makes running fast, easy. We'll talk about that shoe later on, maybe when we do some marathon workouts. But for now, I'm going to go into some training weeks. So, Rachel, I want to hear about your week, even if it didn't involve too much running. So how about we start? I think the day that we will start with is New Year's Day. Yeah. So, do you want to just run us through what you did?
Yeah. So I still wasn't. This was the day before the CT, so I was just doing some cross training at this point. So I just did 45 on the elliptical because we were out late on New Year's Eve, so it felt rotten.
What did you get up to?
We had like an early dinner sitting, and then we went to a house party to watch the fireworks.
Well, like you went an early dinner, so like you went out to a nice restaurant or something?
Yeah, went to a restaurant in Richmond, and then it's a friend's place that overlooks like the river that we could see the fireworks on. So just did that and did my gym. So went did some weight training. Then the second, I did a session on the elliptical. So I did 9 lots of 90 seconds, 60, 30 seconds off of 30 seconds. And then I did another 30-minute elliptical double in the evening.
What are you on the elliptical? Are you going to hold on, or are you just
a mix? If I'm doing a session, I usually hold on for the reps when I'm doing the reps, and then I'll go back to the middle bit when I'm on the off.
You need to change that, coach.
No holding.
No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Well, I feel like you're either a holder or you're not.
If I'm doing just like a 30-minute easy, then I wouldn't hold on, I don't think.
Do you do running arms, though, just to make people in the gym know you're a runner?
No, I always wear race T-shirts to make sure that I'm not usually on here, guys. I'm usually...
You just got to tell everyone before you start. Yeah. Wear your Rebellion Pros, too.
Yeah. Take gels, everything. Yeah. Then the third I did 45 on the elliptical in the morning and did my weights. And then because I've been cleared to do a bit of offloaded running, I'm actually quite luckily the soccer club that I work for has access to there's like a clinic next to the Collingwood football ground that has an AlterG in it. So one of the people from the soccer club let me into the clinic, and I got to get on the AlterG for 30 minutes. So I did 30 minutes at 70% body weight. There was a bit of an air leak. I don't know. Have you run much on an AlterG, Reece? Do you have one at work?
Yeah, I have one. I have one at work. So we always air leaks are a common thing.
Yeah, so it felt like I was running at a lot heavier body weight than 70%, but that's what it said anyway. So did that,
what's a normal thing? A normal percent to put it on when you use the AlterG?
well, the one that I was on the lowest, it could go with 70%. So I was like,
all right. Yeah, that's.
Oh, really? Is that all it goes down to?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know.
Ours drops to 20%.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does it just feel like you're barely tapping the floor?
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
Maybe
when it's 20%, it is.
Is it just the same as doing an elliptical session though?
So biomechanics are different, but so you don't get like toe off at the end of your gait cycle, and you wouldn't really get a big of a hip drive either. So like it's even though the elliptical is similar, it's definitely not specific enough. Like you're better off being real specific in your training. So the Ultra G was always going to be better.
Better than elliptical, even at 20%.
Not 20%, but 70% by far. If you're not getting any symptoms and you're tolerating that, then that'd be really good.
Yeah, and if I could get on it every day, but it's just not possible at the moment.
But you do both because you can probably get your heart rate up higher on the elliptical than the Ultra G at 70%.
Yeah. Well, my heart rate never gets that high on the elliptical. Like I'm drenched in sweat, and my heart rate will be sitting at like 120, 130. It's quite hard to get it up.
Very quick story. I knew someone that had a theory that because you take the body weight away on the Ultra G, you can run at higher speeds. So say you could run at, say, I don't know what your paces are. So I'll talk about myself. So say like I can run 3:09 for a marathon and so if I'm doing 1K reps, since it might be 3-minute K pace, on an Ultra G, if I go 70%, I might be able to run them at 250 at the same effort as 3. So theory was I could get your leg speed going really, really well. So there's a thing you could try.
Yeah. I haven't been back on one since, but yeah. Then the next day I did another session on the elliptical, 8 by 3 minutes off of 1 minute, which was an hour total, and did my strength training. Then I took Friday off because I was working. And then my friend Simone has lent me, she's got a lever harness, so it's a similar principle to the Ultra G. It's a harness that goes over the top of a treadmill, has a bungee cord attached to it. The bungee cord loops through a pair of shorts, and you put the shorts on, and then you tighten the bungee cord to offload your body weight. So I did that.
Poor man's Ultra G.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but they're still very expensive.
Yeah. How much do they cost?
$2,000.
Oh. No. Are they really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
But like the pro is that you can unhook it all, pack it all down into like a small, I guess it's kind of like a small suitcase size little carry thing. So you can take it around with you, and anywhere that you have a treadmill, you can use it. So she's lent that to me while I'm doing this offloaded running. So I just did 45 minutes at 80% body weight, but with that, it's a bit more of an estimation. It's not an exact. And then
how'd it feel?
Yeah,
it's like I'm getting like a bit of aching. It's mild, like a 1 out of 10, and it tends to get a little bit better during the session, and then by the time I finish, it's usually almost nothing. So then the following day, I did an hour with the lever harness on. So I did 45 minutes at 90% body weight, 10 minutes at 95%, and then I just did 5 minutes at the end at 100%. But because you've been running offloaded, once I pulled off the bungee cord and went back onto full body weight, I felt like my legs were full of lead. Like it was so hard to run back at 100% body weight. But I managed to get through an hour with like 1 out of 10 pain. So I did, I think there was a total of like 22K or something for the week, which, given on Monday, I still thought I had a stress fracture. Not too bad. 28K.
So the plan will be to progress this coming week then? Because that sounds really promising, really good.
Yeah, so hopefully I've seen my physio this morning, and he said to try some ground running this week, and I've just come from a podiatry appointment, and they've sort of taped up my foot to see if that will help as well.
Yeah, nice.
Do you count body weight percentage in mileage for the year?
I don't know.
Do you count water running as mileage? Because there used to be someone who would do that.
No, that's OCD.
All
How are
right.
you tracking? How are you tracking stuff on a treadmill? Like good anyway.
Yeah.
Has technology gone that far? Have I been living under a rock that
treadmills treadmills can count your distance, Reece.
Yeah, I never trust those things, mate.
Nah.
I also never run on a treadmill, and ever would I run on a treadmill.
I reckon you're the kind of guy who would do one of those challenges, like try to break the Australian 26K record on the treadmill.
I've been looking at the 27.2, but yeah, why not add 26 in there, mate?
If you're going to go for one, go for the other as well.
That's it.
Well, let's talk about your week of training, please, Reece, because you're a pretty erratic trainer, but now that you're not working, you could train normally?
Yeah, like this week I had my ups and downs, that's for sure. So being up here, so this week I'd been up here for 5 days prior to the start of this week. And the 5 days prior to this week, I trained quite hard. I would say very hard. And I trained very, very well. And something that I don't know. So I know in the altitude world, it takes about 10 days to kind of acclimatize. And you really don't want to do anything crazy in that 10 days because you can kind of sabotage the entire trip. I actually don't know the science or anything behind heat training. And if I know obviously I don't even know how long it takes to acclimatize. I don't know if there's a risk of overdoing it. I don't know if either of you know if there's a protocol of how long you kind of don't do intervals for if you hit heat or.
Well, even the altitude thing is debatable because your old coach, Dick Telford, he basically has nearly everyone go and do a workout in the first couple of days of getting there.
And that's how I used to do it as well at altitude. Yeah, I just knew that it wasn't the normal.
No, I think there's just no proven kind of science on it. So it's just an intuition thing that coaches use. I think he said that if anyone's been there before, he has them do it straight away. But if it's their first time, maybe he takes a couple of days jogging first. But heat, I think you can. Heat's a tricky one because even if you are properly acclimated, you're still going to struggle with if it's hot. Regardless, kind of like altitude, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's just been getting used to like what I didn't do in Singapore, and that's just adapting my paces. And just because when I first got up here, the sessions, I was running very similar paces like I was down in Melbourne, and I was just like they were taking a lot out of me. So pretty much on Monday this week, I was flat, really, really flat. So in the morning, I ran 12.6 kilometers. And then in the afternoon, in the afternoon, I ran 10.2 kilometers, both just easy jogs. They probably were just under 5 minute K pace, but it felt disgusting and I felt horrible the entire time. And so then I decided instead of doing 2 midweek sessions, I'll push back my Tuesday planned session to Wednesday. So Tuesday I jogged again. So I did 15 kilometers easy in the morning, 10K easy in the afternoon, same as Monday, just felt flat, felt disgusting.
How hot is
it? It's not even that bad. It's probably been getting up to 30 degrees most days. I haven't checked the humidity. The humidity is nothing like Singapore. So it's definitely, so it's not as bad as Singapore. It's just, I don't know. I just struggled. So I'm not sure what the humidity is. I'll check the humidity for next week. So Wednesday, I thought I've got a session. I've just put it off from yesterday. So I did 30 minutes tempo pace and then a 3-minute jog and then 6x400 meters on like a grass athletics track. And the tempo pace, I'm not a heart rate man. I just run it to kind of feel. I'm a creative when it comes to my training. It's an art form for me. It's not a science. So I ran average 3:21 per kilometer for 30 minutes in my tempo. And at the same effort that I was, say, back in Melbourne, I was kind of doing them at 3:15 pace. So I wasn't super happy with that. And then even the week before when I got here, I ran that kind of tempo at 3:18 pace. So it was slower than the week before. And then I did 6x400s and I was hitting them in like 72 seconds, whereas the week before I was hitting them in 67, 68. So I just felt disgusting that whole time. And then that night, my old man got me into a corporate box at the Big Bash. because Coffs Harbour had a big bash game with the Sydney Sixers and the Brisbane Heat. And we hit the Canadian clubs. And my brother was in there, and I had 5 CCs because they were just going down nicely after doing a session. And also before I got to the big bash, I went to the beach and I got a nice sunburn. So I woke up on Thursday morning with sore shoulders, 5 CCs in the system from the night before, and mate, I felt $1 million. Like, everything had changed. Everything had changed. I could not believe it. I was like, this is just everything everyone tells you not to do. Stay away from alcohol. Don't get sunburned. You'll be dehydrated. So I went out for a 10K easy that morning thinking I'm going to feel terrible. Came back, ran 4:30s and just felt like I was jogging on the spot. My legs were popping. So I did a 10K easy again in the afternoon, and same feeling. I was just like, I feel good. So
maybe you were just underfueled or something.
Yeah. You needed the sugar.
Yeah, potentially. I feel like I was eating plenty here. Used to eat a lot of Christmas leftovers and lollies and snacking on. Maybe it's a change in the food. I don't know.
Whatever. But maybe you got to use that going forward.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? It's not the first time, and I shouldn't advocate this, and it's not the first time I've had a few beers or a few drinks, and I don't know if I run dehydrated just in my day-to-day life. Like, I do a whole work day and I don't drink water. So maybe just having some extra fluid just actually hydrates me, maybe. I don't know. So then Friday came around, and because my legs were popping Thursday, I got out and did 20 kilometers in the hills. And that had about 510 meters of elevation, and I averaged 4:23s, and that was the moment I was like, yeah, I'm back, because it felt comfortable. I didn't feel like I was overworking it. So then I did 10K easy in the afternoon on Friday. So that meant that I was going to go big on the weekend with my training, because my original plan was to work out Tuesday, Thursday, and I only did a Wednesday. So Saturday I got up and I did park run plus 5 by 1K. I must have been. Here's respect, Rachel. There's an internship at that local hospital here, and he reckons he runs maybe 3 times a week, and he ran on my coattails until 4Ks, and he ran like 15:20 at park run, and he's doing his internship, and this guy can run, and I was like, respect.
What's his PB?
He's probably coming off a night shift. That was his PB. He ran a PB.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
park
run PB.
So exactly. So I ran 15:10 for the park run, which is just like a threshy effort. And then I did 5 by 1K, which I just wanted them to be faster than the park run effort. So I ran kind of 2:58, 3-minute K pace for them. When I do 1K reps just off my GPS watch, I run 1.02. So that's kind of my 1.02.
You set the watch to that?
No, I don't schedule the watch. I just stop it manually. I start and stop manually.
At 1.02?
1.02, yeah. 1.02.
Why 0.02?
Because if I accidentally stop it at 0.99, it will ruin my entire day.
Okay.
It's funny you're so like pedantic about that. But you just said that you went and did a threshold effort for the 5K, but I bet you're not looking at your heart rate for that threshold effort.
No, of course I wasn't. I can't look at my heart rate. I've got hairy arms. My wrist heart rate doesn't work. It's useless.
You don't wear a strap, or?
Because it got pretty high at the end of that park run for a bloke who was just doing it as a session.
As a threshold in my books means I'm going I'm going full gas. And also it's off my wrist if you want to take that.
No, I don't want to take that. But for a bloke who won't run 0.99 instead of 1, pretty relaxed about the whole threshold type prescription.
Yeah, my threshold pace is just faster than my tempo pace.
Fair enough.
My threshold pace just means I'm not enjoying myself. So I did that. And then I just chilled in the afternoon. And then Sunday I fast long run. So I did like a warm up cool down either side, but I did 30 Ks at about 3:26 pace. And I had like the Wave Rebellion 2s on. I had the race shoes on just to try and condition the body to hitting the pavement in the actual shoes I got to wear come race day. So that total
shoe report.
Yeah, really good. They must just suit me the way I been a bit heavier and just where the kind of there's like a sweet spot, right? Like if you can hit that sweet spot, you'll laugh, and especially on downhills. Honest to God, I know everyone's going to say this is biased point of view, and they can say that, but I don't know about you, Moose, but when you run downhills in these shoes, these things feel incredible on a downhill.
They're just like how it was described to me really well was it's like running off a starting block every single time you take a step. It's like you're pushing off this 50 mil midsection of shoe. You got so much propulsion there.
Yeah. So I think like other brands feel like you're kind of floating and they feel obviously softer. But this one, if you hit this one feels like it pushes you, or gives you propulsion and gets you moving along. But I just wanted to make sure my legs, because I feel like they potentially could beat my legs up a bit more than some other shoes. So the easiest way to just prepare that is just do some of these kind of long runs in them, and I'll have no problems doing that, I don't think. And then in the afternoon...
You didn't see my long run the week before and just copying my training?
Did I give kudos before I lie or don't lie?
Oh, no idea.
I did see that from you. So I've done these sort of runs for a fair while, and I thought you'd be someone that would give me shit for doing something like this. And when I saw you do it, I was like, yeah, you know what? I need to get back on that bandwagon. So you did inspire me, I must admit, because they're not fun to do, right? You know,
not by yourself. You look like you had someone with you.
Yeah, so I had one brother-in-law on the bike and another brother-in-law ran 5K with me.
Oh yeah. Oh, he got a good photo of a snake.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bloody python or carp. I don't know in nature.
There's a snake. I didn't even looking snake. Yeah.
Yeah, we're out in the Wild West down here. Oh, not Wild West, mate, but saw another snake today. They're everywhere up here.
They're gentle up there, though, aren't they? They're like pets.
Yeah. People love them. Everyone finds them in their house, just like the redback spiders and things like that.
But no, that's good. That's you 180K. How much climbing in that long run? 179. Oh yeah, pretty good.
170. Yeah, I must admit, I was a bit disappointed with that. Because it felt hillier than that. I was thinking that would be like 250 or more. So I was kind of like, well, it hurt a lot more than like it just felt hilly.
How was your effort?
My effort for that?
What would you have gauged that at?
So I would say that effort is say 5 seconds slower than if I tried to run like a marathon effort or marathon pace. So 5 to 10 seconds easier than marathon effort. So like I could still have I could still talk like a couple of sentences, but I was like comfortably uncomfortable. So I probably only have, it's probably about 5 to 10 seconds off marathon effort, not marathon pace.
Like some patches were kind of difficult, but some patches were really easy as well.
I think you've nailed that. Yeah, there's like, I think like first 5K I kind of struggled, and then I went through like a good patch, and then another bad patch, and and then I think around like 18 to kind of 22K, it was a bad patch in there, and it kind of felt like it, and that's why I did like the session on the Saturday, because I wanted to be a little bit tired going into this as well. Because I didn't really care about the paces, or I just wanted to feel like I was running the last 30 Ks of a marathon, the last 25 Ks of a marathon. I wanted to get real uncomfortable. So
you look at during it, or just
look at pace during?
No,
I don't really care about my pace on it. It's purely run off kind of effort.
Gels?
Yeah. Had one gel and just some sips of water. Yeah, I must admit. So so I'm useless at practicing my fueling and things like that. I'm a bit of a cheap ass, so I don't want to pay for gels and things like that to practice on them. I don't want to waste them in
You won
training.
$20,000 at Melbourne Marathon. Buy some fucking gels.
I have a 10-week-old son who goes through nappies like no tomorrow, and they're bloody $22 for a week of nappies, mate.
Oh, that is tight from you. So you ran 181K for the week?
Yeah, 181K for the week. Yeah, it felt better at the end of the week than the beginning of the week. So no, I'm really happy with that. Yeah, if I could maintain that for the next 6 weeks, I'll be stoked.
Comments or questions on that training week, Rachel?
Solid. So is the plan? Your plan is to just maintain 180 from now, or?
To be honest, I don't really care less about my total volume. So the way I establish my weekly training is actually I might put 2 to 3 key sessions that I want to get out of that week. So the week before I did a lot of kind of 18-kilometer hilly runs because I just felt I could, plus I did shorter sessions. So yeah, each week I just established, I knew this week I wanted to do a fast long run. So next week I won't do a fast long run. So I'll probably do 3 shorter and faster sessions next week.
Do you plan in advance, like the whole block, like with self-coaching, or do you just do it like each weekend for the week coming up?
No, I honestly go by everything's done by feel. I have a few key things I want to hit, and then I just
work around
it. And I'm like quite dynamic in like I'm a big believer in like our bodies are just like adaptive machines. So I just want to constantly change the stimulus. As soon as I feel like something's just becoming repetitive or the same, then I want to change that up drastic. So like every marathon block I do, there'll be some sort of variance compared to the one prior, even if I've had a successful marathon.
What's this one going to be?
So this is the one where I'm bringing in kind of trying to push more of those 1K reps. So I haven't done that in the last few. I've kind of just done a lot more like tempo work and fartlek type work. So this one I wanted to kind of get more comfortable at running sub 3-minute K pace, just because it's something I haven't been doing much of over the last couple of builds.
All right, good. Well, I will whistle through my week. I woke up New Year's morning with no hangover whatsoever and ran 38 minutes just on the flat. And then in the Arvo, I decided to get outside for a bit and then on the treadie for a bit because this shin seems to respond a lot better to the treadie rather than outdoors. So I was trying to maximize the flat and no camber, no corrugations, no tree roots. And I just put the incline up a little bit. Seems to feel good on it. So I just broke that into 5 and 5, so 10K. Tuesday morning, just went out pretty early for 48 minutes. I think I had a massage treatment, we'll call it, with the myotherapist, and that's when he got into my calf and chucked the needles in. He beat the shit out of it. Like, it was so sore that afternoon. Felt like I had been shot. Like, I would sit down at my desk and do some work and then get up and try to walk, and I was limping. And I thought this was a little too much, maybe, because he would get the needle in and then he would be like making the muscle twitch. And but however, Tuesday afternoon, my calf was tight, but I didn't feel any shin pain on the bone or anything. And then Wednesday, I jogged that night, and it's almost like I jogged the DOMs out on the treadie because it felt a lot better after that. And then Wednesday morning, we went to a new estate to do the workouts because down here at the moment, it is carnage with tourists. And our normal loops are just overrun. So we went to this new estate. It's the first time we've run out here. It was at Grossman's. It's what was it called? Ocean Acres or something. And brand new estate. It's not like a small volume builder type estate. It's like huge blocks with big, massive mansions on it. And there was really no traffic whatsoever. It was a 1 mile-ish loop. and the road surface was perfectly flat, and it had new blacktop on it, and there was no camber whatsoever. There was the corners weren't that sharp. Like there were a few corners. It's kind of like a almost like a triangle, but they were soft. Mile was pretty short for the loop, but I didn't really care too much given how nice the surface was, and there was no traffic. So we'll go back here again. After the warm-up, I programmed my watch to what I wanted the session to be, which was 20 reps of 500 on. And for me, the ons were going to be about 3.5 to 3.10 and 500 float. I was going to try to float at about 3.25-ish. And I fucked up. So I put in 500 as the rep. And then on the float, I put in, I thought I was putting 500 in, but I put in 50 seconds. And so I started, it was so dumb, but I started the workout and I wasn't looking. I would just go off the beeps. So the first rep, I was 500 meters and I thought that was good. It was, I'm not sure what pace, maybe like 3.5 or something. And then I got the beeps countdown into the next rep. I thought, right, that wasn't very long. I guess I was moving pretty quick on that float. And I got to 3K mark and I thought, this session's going to be so easy. Like, I feel like I'm like, the kilometers are just ticking by. And then about 4K mark, I look down and my watch is actually counting down in time on the rest rather than counting down in distance. I thought, oh, there's something not right here. And then I flicked over to the other screen and it showed that I was at like way shorter than I was supposed to be. And I realized what I'd done. It was probably about 7 reps in or something, 6 reps.
So what do you do? Kick on? Keep going with it?
Kick on, yeah. I thought, all right. And what was happening is that I was running fast. I was running faster than I should have. And I wasn't actually getting the recovery period. Like, if I had have run properly, I would have been getting about 1:42 to 1:45 of float, but I was only getting 50 seconds of float before I was having to run fast again. So I wasn't getting a heart rate decrease as much. And so it was just getting a bit hard, a bit quick. And once I realized that, I thought, okay, push the ons a bit more and we'll just do 10K worth of work. And then once I got to 10K, I thought, oh, just go to 15 reps. And by that stage, Matt Gunther had finished his workout, which he was doing with the other crew, Ali's group, and he jumped on the bike and he got me through to 20 reps. So I ended up doing 20 reps of it, pretty much finished it off as it was in the watch. I was averaging about 3 minutes to 3.5 in the ons and my floats. I was not looking at pace, but it looks like the floats would probably average about 3.25, I think. I haven't really gone through it.
So what was the distance and the average pace for the whole session?
Oh, yeah. So it was 14.8K and it was 3.12 average.
Oh,
so
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Look, this is a GPS-friendly loop. I won't lie. There's a few corners where at the start of the corner, I'd look down and it would say like 3.7 pace, and then I would get out of the corner and it would be 3.3 pace. And I thought, oh, this is nice. This is comfy in the mind. But I knew at the end that maybe I was sort of taking the piss a bit. But no, I was happy with the workout. It like I got to a point in it where it was fucking hard, like really hard towards the end. And I'm glad I finished it because I had to self-talk through this one a little. Like in terms to finish it, I had to set myself like these tiny little goals, the 10K goal, the 15 lap goal, and then to finish was I felt happy that I finished. And then I finished and the other guys are doing their workout for like another 10 minutes plus because they're actually doing it how it was planned. But they had a good workout too. Oh, damn.
Are you the sort of guy that you kind of slightly overprescribe? So then when you're in there and in the hurt box and there's a day comes along, you want to be a bit of a pussy, you can cut it short and know you still got a good session out of it?
Nah, I'm probably the opposite. I give myself... Okay. I tend to go into these workouts, give myself a little ceiling, like I'll prescribe it, but knowing there's a ceiling above the actual prescription where I can move a little bit. And I tend to always do that. It helps me mentally to get to the workout and not stress about it too much.
Yeah.
What do you? what do you think? It's better to do it that way, or it's better to set something really hard and give yourself a little bit of an out?
The other way.
Rachel, what do you reckon?
I think if you give yourself an option to micro quit like each time, it can get you into a bad habit. Like I would do your method of like leaving room for more, because if you feel good, you can always just push on a bit. But setting yourself unrealistic targets, doesn't seem manageable.
When you go and do those 1K reps you're talking about, Reece, are you going to give yourself a target that's easy in your mind to hit or hard in your mind to hit?
I kind of run it in my head. I'm like, if I'm feeling real good and hit the times I want to hit, I'd rather do 12. So I'd go in there and go, I'm going to do 8 to 12 of these. If I'm feeling really, really good, instead of running them 8 faster, if I just plan on doing 8, I kind of like to be able to go, I'm going to run 12. So I guess I kind of give myself just a range. Like if it's going to be, because I don't go off heart rate or anything, I give a range of if it's a bad session or a good session. If that makes sense. So if it's a good session, it's slightly overprescribed, but then I also have my bad session. So, and I would say I generally 80% of the time end up doing kind of the more side of it.
I would struggle to do more in that situation and not just run the 8 faster. That's the type of athlete I would be. If I got given the option to go, you can do 8 to 12 and you can do the pace from 250 to 3 minutes, I'm probably doing 8 at 350. I'm not sure I would be able to run 12 at the slower pace, just because I probably couldn't handle myself during the discipline myself enough through the workout.
Yeah. But when I say like slower pace, it could only be seconds. So I'm talking like I'm trying to hit, say, 1K reps in 258 pace. I don't know. Like I'd rather just run 12 at 258 than be like I don't really see the point for what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah, fair enough. I ran the next morning, 8K. You might notice that I do a lot of double runs, more frequent running that is shorter, and I feel like that's more sustainable for me. So rather than go out and run 16K in the morning and no double, I'm doing like 2 8K doubles. It's better for my body. I'm feeling like I can recover more and I can get more overall volume in that way. And I even split the double runs up. Like the second run, I did 4K in the evening and then jumped onto the treadie for 3K to finish it off. Mainly because I had to walk the dog and the dog needs a run, so I took him out for 4K. Ran an hour with Ali and Toby on, I think it was Friday morning. We got out into some hills, which was nice. And then we had a race on Saturday evening, Surf Coast Track Night, we call it. The club group that I ran with down here puts it on. We sort of collab with the running company and also On Running. Geelong Athletics is they almost host it because it's at their track. They provide the officials and we had 3 5K races, 2 10K races. They were graded. You ran the 5K last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Rach?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So it was a good night again. It was pretty warm. I was in the 10K. The goal, I think I said on the podcast last week that I wanted to run 31 minutes. And I felt like, I think I told the group that I ran with Saturday, I said, I think I can run 30-50. And I ran 30-54 or 55 it was. So I knew it was a decent run for me because of that. The way the race went off, I went out with the lead group. I just sort of towards the back of the lead group. We went through in 3:05, which I thought was perfect for what I wanted, but I know that there was a bunch of other guys who wanted faster than that. So the next K was 3 minutes. The K after that was 3 minutes. And by that stage, I was already thinking, this is feeling too hard at 3K for me to finish with this group. So I'm hoping that it splinters soon because I wasn't dropping off because I was middle of the group. And if you're middle of the group and the pace is just that slightly bit too quick, there's not much you can do about it. You can't just step out and let people just go around you or pass on your inside. You're just committed to it. So that pretty much fucked me. But I stayed on until I think it was about 4.8K when one bloke just got had a bit of enough of it, and he took off a little bit. And then we went through 15:18. Pack splintered. I stayed with one other guy for maybe 2 laps, and then I think about 10 laps left, I was by myself, and I ran by myself to the finish, which did not provide much incentive to keep the pressure on the pacing when you're running 10 laps solo. You're not going to break any type of benchmark time or threshold time or anything like that. So you're not going to catch the person in front, and the person behind you is sort of blown up where they'll never be a threat. You're pretty much time trialing to the finish. Mm-hmm. So I finished 30:54, 4 or 5. I'm going to have to look that up later because that's annoying me. But I was happy. It wasn't a great race. It wasn't a bad race.
It was hot too.
It was pretty warm, yeah. I'm not sure what the benchmark is for hot. It was about 24, I think. What's that? Is that hot?
Race.
Pretty humid.
Yeah.
There wasn't any real sun, but it was real sticky.
Yeah.
They had a sprinkler at the 300-meter mark, but it didn't really provide a lot of relief. I would have enjoyed some bottles on the side to get over your head, but anyway, that's it. And we jogged twice on Sunday to make up. Geez, what did I even run last week? Let me have a look. It wasn't a ton because I didn't get a long run in. It was 122K. That's the annoying thing about that 10K race, no long run. But this week will look heaps prettier because we haven't had to recover from one. So that's me. And this week we got 2 big workouts, Wednesday and Sunday. So hopefully get fit for them. All right. That's episode 1. See you, Reece. Had enough of that. Gee, the early knockoff for Reece. What do you got planned this week, Rach? You wait. Oh, are you?
Yeah, it'd be good if I can get some ground running in. Yeah, just hoping that this gets better. It's getting there, but yeah, just got to be patient, unfortunately. But it'd be good if I can get some outdoor running in when I'm in Ballarat.
Some dry needling, maybe?
I'm going to Falls Creek on Saturday.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. We had it pre-booked before I had my scan, and then when I got the MRI, we tried to cancel the accommodation, but it was non-refundable, so decided to go anyway.
Take a spin bike up.
Yeah, I'm going to bring my bike, and I'm going to hopefully bring that lever harness as well. I'm hopeful that I might be doing a bit more outdoors then. If not, I'll just aqua jog in that lake.
Oh, really? Wow, cool.
I don't know if you can aqua jog in that.
Are you allowed to swim in that? Isn't that like a water
supply? I don't know.
Can you swim in there, Reece? Do you know? In the big...
I've never been to Falls Creek.
Yeah.
Oh. Nah, you'll be bored not running. You'll be real bored. The cricket's not on. I don't think there's a test on it. So you won't be able to watch that.
There's not much else to do, I imagine, up there.
No.
You could do some good bike riding. You could hike if your leg's not sore. You could people watch. Down in that snowman area. Anyway, there's good mountain biking there though. You could go take on some trails.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Reece, what do you got on? You back to Melbourne or are you staying up there?
Back to Melbourne on Saturday, so I'll have much better internet connection next week. And just quickly, I have one question, mate. No one's asked you, what are your goals and ambitions for Osaka? Because you're sneaking your way through this, and you're kind of... A couple of weeks ago, you said to me, you two are the ones with the egos, and I personally don't think I've ever run with an ego. And I would like to know, with your Geelong performance, I know, tracking your training, that this is the fittest you've been for a very long time. And if you're anything like me, you're looking very optimistic at Osaka. What are you actually thinking?
Well, I am optimistic after the last few marathon workouts. The 10K didn't give me much hope, but I also don't really care too much because I remember this bloke Clay Hobgood. He did a deep dive into people that have broken 2:15, and there's only been one person that hasn't broken 29. I'm the slowest 10K runner out of all the 2:15 guys, so I am last on the list.
In Australia?
In Australia, yeah.
Well, have you seen my PB?
I was going to say, yeah, what's your
10K?
PB?
Oh, this was before. What's your PB?
Well, are we talking on a certified course?
I guess.
30:01.
Oh, shit. I've got to go back and... When did you run sub 2:15? First time?
2021.
Yeah. Okay. So this was done before you did that. So now you are the slowest.
But I've run 29:40 on uncertified course.
What's that? Albert Park or something?
Nah, this was over in the UK. It's called the Speedway 10K, and I did it. So it's on my Power of 10, for any UK listeners. I did it 6 days post running a 2:13 marathon.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Jeez.
Didn't you run some like downhill marathon where it was a bit like cheating?
So if you're like a troll on the internet and you just keyboard bash and you're happy to say that, but if you were there on the day and you realise that one Cam Levins struggled, he ran like 2:10 on this course, who's gone on to run 2:05, you'll realise that the torrential rain, and so it's 6 laps where you run 3K kind of down, 3K back up. So you have to run up the hill. So 6 laps.
How can it be that course, but a net downhill?
So there is a little kicker. So 3 laps, and then at the 39-kilometre marker, instead of finishing your 6th lap, you just keep running straight, and you may or may not come across a nice downhill.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like a nice one to do, but won't go to World Athletics Profile or Power of 10. Hopefully not.
That race?
You said it was on your Power 10.
What?
For that marathon?
The downhill race.
So that was legal. That was because there's Olympic. You're allowed to qualify for the Olympics on it. They had the most
Gardens one, wasn't it?
What was that?
It was in Kew Gardens.
No, this is in Austria. This is in this is peak COVID, where I had to get like allowed to leave and go to a red country, and then they took us to the middle of Austria onto like this freeway they were building, and they just did it up and back on this freeway. And no, they hit the maximum amount of downhill elevation allowed to be a qualifier. Yeah, so but anyway, it's not my PB anyway, so I don't care.
All right, but no, it's funny that we have the last and second last 10K, like the slowest 2 10K runners ever to break 2:15 on this show.
That's pretty funny, yeah.
Yeah.
I must admit, I would like to run a faster 10K, but I couldn't. I hate 10K.
Yeah, you got to.
It's got to be the hardest. Yeah, it's got to be the hardest distance.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, my goal is to run. I haven't decided yet. It won't be that fast. I want to break 2:20. That would be.
No, mate.
I'll break 2:20. They'll make a Netflix series about it. It'll be the best comeback ever in history of sport. It'll have.
Well, hold on. Something miraculous might happen with my shins, and that could be like.
Yeah. This could be a series. They might make a movie out of this series.
Yeah.
They'll have like the full on.
We would play you.
Yeah, the dialogue and everything. Reece could qualify for the Olympics.
Oh, mate, I'm no way in the world am I qualifying for the Olympics.
Well, Tom DeCanto ran 2:11. You're basically a Tom DeCanto.
Mate, Tom DeCanto is levels above me. He always has been, and that man has been running way below his potential in the marathon for so many years. So I still don't reckon he's even hit his potential there. So it's good to see him get a good one out, mate.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining, guys. And next week, what we'll do is we'll have listener questions, and we'll be able to maybe dissect the training a little more, talk about Osaka, what your plans are there, like around Mizuno's trip, because you guys will have a good time. But first episode, nice to meet you. Welcome to the world of podcasting. Thought you performed quite well. Reece, good to see you're not as drunk this time.
Yeah, it was in my contract, mate. Must stay sober. But only for the debut episode, but so I'll be back next week.
Hopefully, Rachel, you're not too tired for your hard job that you are doing as a doctor. We haven't kept you up too late.
No. Well, I have to drive to Ballarat in the morning, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, crew. Catch you later.
Right. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
The Inside Running Podcast Road to Osaka series is powered by Mizuno, committed to making marathoners faster for now and the future.